Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So today, given the crazy circumstances with the hurricanes and the natural disasters, I think we ought to chat about how hurricanes and natural disasters can have an effect on the freight market and the trucking industry. But before I continue with this video, I just want to say one thing. Of course, it's human nature to look for opportunities, right? And in the trucking industry, after 2 years of not really having opportunities, we're all pretty hungry. But something we have to remember, in my opinion, you can agree, you can disagree. My opinion is that we have to remember that sometimes those opportunities arise from utter devastation to other people. So if I may, I ask all of those watching this video to just keep that point in mind. All right, ready? Let's go. So it's no secret that over the past 2 years, actually more than 2 years, shippers and brokers have had the upper hand when it comes to the freight market and freight rates just because of the overcapacity factor. But the reality is, hurricanes and natural disasters can be a tipping point in the freight market. Freight waves actually warned shippers about this back in May, told them to kind of be careful because, as they say, and I quote, like all commodity markets, rates become massively volatile when an unexpected sudden demand shock occurs. For trucking markets, no event has more short-term impact on demand than a major hurricane hitting a large US city. What often ends up happening is that trucking becomes kind of the lifeline for the folks who were affected by those natural disasters, and trucks bring the necessary commodities that help these communities resupply as well as rebuild their communities. Now, let's talk about what's happening now. We had the ILA port strike that lasted about 3 days. We had Hurricane Helene that devastated several communities. And now we are waiting for, unfortunately, Hurricane Milton that's about to hit Tampa, Florida. So what usually happens within the freight market? Well, before a storm hits, if the location of the storm is known, what usually happens is we see demand to that area increase, which means that truck rates will usually go up going to the area where the storm is about to hit. Now, is this something we can expect or we're seeing in terms of Florida, which is about to get hit by Hurricane Milton? I am not sure. And I'm not sure because the devastation that the media, at least, is reporting that could occur because of this hurricane is so bad that I'm not sure that people are asking for products in advance. I might be wrong. Feel free to check me on this and let me know in the comments what you guys think will happen before Milton hits, which should be tomorrow, realistically, or if you have seen any rates go up to the Tampa, Florida area. But in my opinion, considering the mass evacuations that are happening from Florida right now, and considering the fact that this hurricane could really have dire consequences in that area, I don't know if products are really coming in right now. Now, of course, during the actual storm itself, nothing is going to be coming into the area that is affected. But afterwards, inbound rates usually start to go up because there are supplies that are needed in order to resupply and rebuild the affected areas. Usually what happens, it's dry vans and reefers who go to those areas first, and then they are followed by flatbeds who bring the materials in order to actually rebuild those affected communities. Just to give you an idea of what is happening right now with the freight market, we can definitely say that the market is responding to at least the ILA strike as well as Hurricane Helene. Dry vans, for example, saw an increase in load postings by 17% week over week, while carrier postings of their equipment, the truck postings on the load boards, fell by 22% week over week. And this is according to DAT. But now let's talk about what could happen tomorrow. Hurricane Milton. This is the third major crisis that is happening in less than 2 weeks. First, we had the ILA strike, which has nothing to do with natural disasters, the 3-day strike. Then at the same time, Hurricane Helene happened. And now we have Hurricane Milton. Now, Hurricane Milton is expected to make landfall in Tampa, Florida, starting tomorrow with winds that are over 125 miles per hour. Some people are reporting 180 miles per hour, making it a Category 4 or Category 5 storm, which is one of the strongest seen in the Tampa, Florida area. I know there's no comparison, but for the purpose of this video, let's compare what's going to happen with Hurricane Milton to the ILA strike as well as Hurricane Helene. So in terms of the ILA strike, which was supposed to disrupt the freight market, that strike only lasted 3 days and it was pre-reported, right? It was reported way in advance, so people had time to prepare. And while there was some disruption, it wasn't anything huge. Now, Hurricane Helene was a devastating hurricane to those who were in its path. It completely demolished the lives of so many folks who were hit by that storm. But from a freight market standpoint, and I'm going to quote FreightWaves here, Helene may not have had a huge direct influence on national trucking capacity, as most of its impact was in more rural areas with little transportation demand. And it has put strain on the Federal Emergency Management Association, FEMA, in front of Milton. And then we have Hurricane Milton. But before we actually focus on Hurricane Milton, let's talk about 2017 when Hurricane Harvey hit Houston, Texas. Now, this was not a major hurricane, but it did kind of sit for several days in Houston. This caused shippers to, of course, close their facilities. And according to FreightWaves, it caused the longest running freight market capacity shortages in modern history. And again, this was not considered a major storm. Now, in terms of market size, Tampa, Florida accounts for 1.5% of all outbound freight in the US. It's not a huge market. And it accounts for about 2.7% of all inbound freight in the US. And this is according to the past year. But following Hurricane Milton, what we might end up seeing is capacity being summoned from all over the US to provide relief to the area as well as to rebuild the area. So just so you guys know, because we're comparing it to Hurricane Harvey in 2017, this hurricane caused rates to soar because a lot of trucks, a lot of capacity was rerouted from their regular lanes to provide relief to Houston, Texas. And in those areas where these trucks were rerouted, these areas saw a decrease in capacity. Of course, there was not enough capacity, so those rates increased as well. And those areas were primarily Memphis, Tennessee, as well as Greenville, South Carolina. Now, another thing that we might end up seeing, and we are actually seeing already following Hurricane Helene as well, is that rates for diesel prices, the price per gallon might increase. In 2017, because of Hurricane Harvey, diesel prices increased by 15 cents per gallon. Now, if we take what is happening right now, strike, Hurricane Helene, Hurricane Milton, and also put it in the context of where we are right now in terms of time, we are right about to hit the holiday season. Usually this is a time where rates do start increasing seasonally because volumes start increasing. Now, if you take two major hurricanes and kind of put them into the mix with the seasonality, yeah, there might be some really big effects on the freight industry and how capacity starts being distributed across the United States. So yeah, one hurricane can definitely create some sort of change in the freight market, but two, one after another in pretty much the same area, well, I guess we're going to have to kind of wait and see what is going to happen. Right now, I hope that anyone who was hit by Hurricane Helene and anyone who has houses or are in the path of the Milton hurricane, Hurricane Milton, I hope that those folks stay safe because at the end of the day, that's what really matters. But yeah, guys, I would love to hear your opinions on how hurricanes and natural disasters can influence the freight market. Have any of you been in the market in 2017 when Hurricane Harvey hit, and what did you see back then? I started my business in 2019, so that was before my time. I'd be very curious to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Anyway, thank you so much for watching and joining today. I hope you guys stay safe, stay healthy, and keep learning. See you in the next video.